When the beat drops, you know exactly what time it is. And man, oh man, it has been a while since I have said that, David.
Yeah, and for an understandable reason. We recognize how tough these past few weeks have been for our community. That's why we have faded into the background and focused on what's really important after Hurricanes Helene and Milton.
Yeah, so with the Bucs back home, we decided to kickstart the Blitz again. And you know what? Let's just get rolling.
Let's just get rolling.
Why even waste any more time? This is the 10 and 10, the top 10 storylines you need to know before Monday Night Football against the Baltimore Ravens. And there are 3 matchups this week featuring teams with records north of 500. And this is one of them. The Ravens and Bucs are both 4-2 on the year. Baltimore leads the all-time series 5-2, while Tampa Bay is 14-13 on Monday night. The last time the Buccaneers faced Baltimore, it was also in prime time. A Thursday night affair in 2022. Tampa Bay lost 27-22 and gave up a total of 231 rushing yards in that contest, David.
Lamar Jackson ran for 43 yards that night, and he is a perfect 2-0 against Tampa Bay in his career. That's part of a ridiculous 22-1 record against NFC opponents as a starter. The one in 22-1 is the New York Giants. They beat Lamar back in 2022.
Yeah, Daniel Jones, baby.
Yeah, Daniel Jones. Now at number 9, let's talk about this Baltimore rushing attack, because not only does Todd Bowles' group have to worry about Jackson scrambling, the Ravens now have Derrick Henry, and that brother leads the NFL in both rushing yards and touchdowns. He's found the end zone 8 times and has 704 yards on the ground. That's a crazy amount considering only one other running back, Jordan Mason, has more than 500.
And number 8, even if the Bucs figure out how to limit the number 1 ranked rushing offense in the league, then the team has to worry about their 2 tight ends, Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. Ever since Servassier Dennis went down at the Eagles game, the Bucs have given up a total of 21 receptions and 282 yards. 2 tight ends in their last 3 games. We knew KJ Britt wasn't a strong coverage linebacker entering the year, and teams are taking advantage of that. Interesting relationship between Mark Andrews and Baker Mayfield, actually. The 2 are best friends. Andrews was even in Mayfield's wedding, and if it was up to the Bucs QB, he would talk more to his former tight end, but the feelings don't seem to be reciprocated.
Even though Mark and I are best friends, him and I don't talk in season. He's a weirdo. He can't exactly, separate friendship and football. So he struggles with that on a year-to-year basis. So there's a few months at a time where we're friends again, but for right now, no. It hurts my feelings. Guy was in my wedding, won't talk to me. It hurts my feelings.
At number 7, let's talk a little more about Baker Mayfield, because he's on pace to log one of his best seasons since he was in Norman, Oklahoma. He has the highest passer rating in team history through 6 games, leads the NFL in passing touchdowns with 17. He's a big reason why the squad ranks 2nd in points, scoring nearly 30 a game. Seems like a good time to bring in James Yarko for our Locked On Bucs burning question of the week. And James, Lamar Jackson is one of 8 Heisman Award winners to also win the NFL MVP. Is Baker Mayfield about to make this thing 9?
Baker Mayfield absolutely belongs in that MVP conversation, at least through the first 6 weeks. And look, he's on pace for a lot of Buccaneers franchise records, whether to break them or contend for them. He's currently on pace for 42.5 touchdown passes, which is right behind Tom Brady's record of 43 in a season. Right now, he's 8th in passing yards, 4th in completion percentage, 2nd in quarterback rating, 1st in passing touchdowns, 1st in total touchdowns. Baker Mayfield is having an outstanding season. You can talk about Lamar Jackson, you can talk about Joe Burrow, you can talk about Patrick Mahomes, you can talk about all of those guys, but at the end of the day, when it comes to the success of the Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield is probably the most valuable player to that organization. Baker Mayfield is the definition of a most valuable player in an organization. It's just a matter of whether or not he can continue his high level of play and be able to make that argument come week 15, week 16, week 17 in the season, if the Bucs are on their way to the playoffs, if they've won the division, or if they're stuck battling for the wild card.
Great stuff, as always, James. As we know, it's a team game. Baker can't do it by himself, and Mike Evans has played his part, but Chris Godwin, this guy is well on his way to a first-team All-Pro selection. Take a look at the numbers we got for you over there. Chris Godwin is well on his way to a 4th straight 1,000-yard season. He ranks 1st in receptions, touchdowns, and yards after the catch. He's been an absolute monster out there for the Bucs, and it also helps when you have some semblance of a rushing attack. At number 5, I can't believe my eyes, Evan. After watching this rushing offense rank dead last in back-to-back years, this team now ranks 8th, averaging 137 yards per game. That is insane. Todd Bowles says Tampa Bay now has a three-headed monster in the backfield with Rashad White, Bucky Irving, and Sean Tucker. Tucker actually became the second Bucs running back in the past decade to win Offensive Player of the Week after totaling 192 yards against the Saints. Not bad for a dude who had only 53 total yards to his name before that contest.
Yeah, I agree. And at number 4, David, I want to show you why this rushing attack is working. And a big reason why is because Liam Cohen has leaned into some more gap runs versus zone runs. And to break down the intricacies of that would take a long time. But in the most simplistic terms, the gap scheme is a bit more structured, gives the running back a clear direction to go, and showcases the athleticism of the offensive line. So let me show you a few examples here. And let's start in the Atlanta game, all right? This is what Liam Cohen calls the pony package, right? It's very popular in football here. Why is it called the pony package? Because you got 2 running backs here, one on either side of Baker Mayfield. Now this is GT counter. The guard, Ben Bredesen, and Tristan Wirfs, the tackle, are going to move in the opposite direction of where they are on the line, and that is going to create a clear path of where Rashad White should follow. So we got the motion here from Chris Godwin. Watch our 2 guards and tackles moving over, and then boom, right through the hole, Rashad White busts a huge gain, all right? And it doesn't have to be the pony package. This is now Sean Tucker in the same exact type of play, just him back there. We got Ben Bredesen, Tristan Wirfs. They are moving off the line, and it's always a good thing to run behind Tristan Wirfs. Sean Tucker with a huge gain himself. Now, let's go a little bit wham. And why is it wham? Because Payne Durham is going to have to quickly hit that defensive tackle. Graham Barton goes up to the second level. And then also Bucky Irving is just going to follow Payne Durham on the right side of his body. And he's going to be able to get a gaping hole right here. And that's what's so great with these gap schemes. Chris Godwin doing his job. And it's just working wonders for this rushing attack. So it doesn't matter which 3 of these guys, David, are on the field. They all can execute the gap scheme at a very high level.
They certainly can. And now let's talk a little defense, Evan, and let's talk about my dogs. Woo, 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 woo. At number 3, rookie Tyke Smith had the best game of his young career against the Saints. He forced a fumble, which led to Antoine Winfield Jr.'s first career touchdown. He also picked off Spencer Rattler to record his first career interception. Todd Bowles continues to say, this guy looks like a seasoned vet, and he's proving to be one of the best rookie secondary pieces in the league through 6 games. And at number 2, we go to our sideline segment. And while the Bucs are certainly healthier than what we saw just a couple of weeks ago in Atlanta, it's still not pretty.
No.
Jamel Dean left last week's game with a hamstring injury, and while he has not been put on injured reserve, this is still considered a week-to-week sort of deal. Also, Todd Bowles revealed to us Mike Evans has been battling with a nagging hamstring injury of his own. That's a big reason why his snaps were limited in New Orleans. But we are also seeing a noticeable improvement with Graham Barton, Christian Izien, Rashad White, and Trey Palmer.
They're getting healthier. At number 1, this will be the first game inside Raymond James Stadium since Hurricanes Helene and Milton affected the Tampa Bay region. The Glazer family has donated a total of $2 million towards hurricane relief and recovery efforts. Guys like Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin have also forked over some dough to do their part.
The Buccaneers even gave a game ball to the city and Florida law enforcement this week as a thank you for all the work in helping our community get back on track. After talking with many members of the organization, it is clear they are playing for a bigger purpose than themselves.
You know, it'll be nice to feel like we're all one again, you know, as a community, and hopefully Raymond James is packed and loud.
Just hoping to, continue to bring hope in a time of post-disaster where people are going through a lot. So we have to focus in, obviously playing for a bigger purpose, but still dialing it back in, doing your job at a very high level, and everything else will take care of itself.
I mean, David, you and I were both out there in storm coverage this past few weeks, and we know it's going to take a while before the Tampa Bay community fully heals, but it's nice to see the outpouring support from so many of our neighbors out there.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw it at Amalie Arena with the Lightning, too. I mean, these are devastating moments, but you see a lot of people helping people in times like these, and sports can also help doing its part, giving us a happy distraction from reality just for a little bit.
Yeah, well said, David. Let's head into the all-out blitz. We only got one game on 10 Tampa Bay this weekend, but it's a good one with Houston taking on Green Bay at 1 o'clock. podcast for our parlay of the week. I think the Ravens tight ends both eat, so I got Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely doing their things, plus Baker Mayfield slinging that rock because this is a weak secondary for Baltimore.
I'm also feeling Mark Andrews this week. I also think Derrick Henry finds his way into the end zone at some point on Monday night, and it's never a bad idea to bet Chase McLaughlin being nails on his field goals. All right, checking out our Blitz picks records. Evan.
I don't like it.
What is that?
Yeah, see, we kept doing these things, and I kept losing, and you kept winning.
Okay, so as you can see, I'm 5-1. Evan is 3-3. So there is clearly some work to do for you here, but I'm going to go first in terms of these predictions. So I do think Tampa Bay is going to play inspired to start the contest off. We will see some inspired football, but the Ravens' strength on offense plays right into the weakness of that Tampa Bay defense, and that's why I'm going to have to pick the Ravens to win 28-24.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a close game, a high-scoring game, but ultimately I think we're on the same page here. I'm just not confident enough right now in the Buccaneers' defense to limit the Ravens, so I give the slight edge to Baltimore, and I have them winning 31-27. Hopefully I'm wrong. It has happened 3 times already. So, hey, you got that going for you. Thank you for joining us on the Blitz. Remember, kickoff is at 8:15 Monday night. Next week, we'll have a great episode with Atlanta coming to town. We got the creamsicle uniforms. And speaking of Atlanta, we got our boy David Schiele. I'm Evan Closky. This is the Blitz. We will see you at the same time or same place next weekend.